There's a thought I haven't been able to shake today, and if you found this video tonight, maybe it was meant to reach you at exactly the right moment. A lot of people keep asking life for transformation while still operating from the same mindset that created their frustration in the first place. Read that again in your mind. You cannot continue thinking like the exhausted version of yourself and expect to suddenly wake up in a completely different reality. It doesn't work that way. Most people are waiting for confidence before they move, waiting for success before they believe in themselves, waiting for certainty before they take action. But growth has never started with certainty. It starts with identity. The truth is, the future version of you already exists in potential. The calmer version, the disciplined version, the financially stable version, the version that wakes up with purpose instead of panic. That person is real. But every single day, you either move closer to becoming them or you rehearse staying the same. And most people don't realize they are practicing limitation daily. Look at your habits. Look at your reactions. Look at the conversations you entertain. Look at the excuses you repeat so often that they've started sounding like facts. That's not destiny, that's conditioning. You've trained yourself to stay familiar with struggle, and familiarity is dangerous because the brain mistakes familiar for safe. Even if the familiar thing is hurting you, that's why some people stay in toxic relationships. That's why some people stay broke for years while saying they want abundance. That's why some people keep shrinking themselves while secretly dreaming of a bigger life. Because a different life requires a different self-image. Imagine trying to run advanced software on an outdated computer. It freezes, it crashes. It can't process the demand because the internal system was never upgraded. That's what happens when your goals evolve, but your identity doesn't. You want expansion with a mindset built around survival. You want peace while feeding your mind chaos every day. You want discipline while constantly negotiating with your comfort. The outside world responds to the internal standard you carry, not the one you post online, not the one you talk about with friends. The real one, the private one, the standard you live by when nobody is watching. And this is where most people get uncomfortable because it means the change has to begin before the evidence appears. Nobody wants that part. People want guarantees, they want proof, they want signs. But life often waits for movement first. You have to become emotionally available for the reality you keep asking for. If you want a healthier body, your habits have to shift before the mirror changes. If you want financial freedom, your discipline has to strengthen before the money arrives. If you want peace, you must stop feeding the addictions that keep your nervous system addicted to chaos. Transformation is internal before it becomes visible. Think about athletes before championship seasons. Think about musicians before sold-out arenas. Think about entrepreneurs before successful businesses. Long before the applause, there was an invisible season where nobody understood what they were becoming. That season matters, because that's where identity is built. And honestly, at first it feels unnatural. You feel ridiculous waking up earlier. You feel awkward speaking with confidence. You feel fake setting boundaries. You feel guilty saying no. You feel uncomfortable choosing discipline over distraction. That discomfort is not failure. That discomfort is evidence that your old programming is losing control. People misunderstand growth because they expect it to feel smooth immediately. No, growth feels unfamiliar before it feels empowering. There's a stage where your old self and your new self are fighting for control at the same time. One voice says, stay where it's comfortable. The other says, you were made for more than this, and every decision feeds one of those voices. Every morning matters. Every conversation matters. Every habit matters. The version of you that changes your life is not created in one dramatic moment. It's built in tiny decisions repeated consistently. The decision to get up when you said you would. The decision to stop entertaining negativity. The decision to stop calling yourself lazy, broken, unlucky, or behind. The decision to stop identifying with your worst season. Because eventually, your mind believes whatever you repeat long enough. If you constantly say, I'm always struggling, I never win, nothing works out for me, your subconscious starts organizing your behavior around those statements. Words become identity. Identity becomes behavior. Behavior becomes reality. That's why the language you use about yourself matters more than people think. Some of you are carrying old versions of yourself like they're permanent definitions. Maybe you failed before. Maybe people underestimated you. Maybe you lost time. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe life humbled you. But those experiences are chapters, not your entire story. Stop introducing yourself to the future using your past. The world changes when your self-concept changes. And let me tell you something powerful. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need everyone to understand your growth. You don't need unanimous support. You don't need to explain every boundary you create. Some people only feel comfortable with the version of you that required less from them. The moment you become more disciplined, more focused, more intentional, some people will call you different. You are different. That's the point. You cannot become extraordinary while remaining committed to old patterns. And sometimes the hardest part isn't building a new life. It's grieving the old identity, the old routines, the old comfort zones, the old emotional addictions, the old excuses that protected you from risk. Because excuses are sneaky, they sound reasonable. I'll start next month. I need more motivation. I'm waiting for the right time. I'm too tired. I'm not ready yet. But deep down, most excuses are fear wearing a logical disguise. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of success, fear of becoming someone unfamiliar. But listen carefully. Your future will always cost you your current comfort. Every level of life asks for a different version of you. And if you keep trying to carry old habits into a new season, eventually the weight becomes unbearable. You have to release what no longer aligns. That includes mental habits too. Some of you replay negative memories like they're daily rituals. You relive embarrassment. You relive heartbreak. You relive rejection. Meanwhile, your future is waiting for your attention. Your focus is powerful. Whatever you feed consistently grows stronger. Feed doubt and doubt expands. Feed discipline and discipline expands. Feed confidence and confidence expands. Your brain is always listening to you. So stop speaking over your life like you're doomed. There is more in you than your current circumstances suggest. A seed looks nothing like a forest, but the potential is still there. And maybe right now your environment doesn't reflect where you're going. That's okay. A lot of transformation happens underground before anything breaks the surface. Don't underestimate invisible progress. Some of the biggest breakthroughs begin quietly. A new mindset, a healthier routine, a stronger boundary. A moment where you finally decide, I refuse to keep abandoning myself. That decision changes everything, not overnight, but permanently. Because once your standards rise, your tolerance for chaos drops. You stop chasing validation. You stop begging for attention. You stop settling for environments that drain your spirit. You become more intentional with your energy. And energy matters. Walk into a room carrying certainty, and people feel it. Approach opportunities believing you belong there, and your behavior changes. Handle setbacks without collapsing emotionally, and resilience starts becoming your identity. This is why emotional mastery is powerful. Anybody can stay motivated when life feels easy. The real shift happens when you remain aligned even during uncertainty, when you continue showing up without immediate rewards, when you continue believing before visible evidence, when you continue building while nobody claps for you yet. That's where self-respect is formed, and eventually something incredible happens. The things that once required force begin feeling natural. Discipline becomes routine. Confidence becomes grounded. Peace becomes familiar. You no longer chase the life you want because you've started becoming the person who naturally creates it. That's the shift. Not just changing circumstances, changing self. And once identity changes, reality starts reorganizing around it. Opportunities appear differently. People respond differently. Your decisions improve. Your standards rise. Your momentum builds. Not because magic suddenly happened, because you finally matched the life you were asking for. So tonight, stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is not a feeling that arrives first. It's something created through action. Start acting like the person you keep dreaming about becoming. Protect your time differently. Speak about yourself differently. Carry yourself differently. Make decisions from your future instead of your fear. You don't need to become perfect overnight. You just need to stop rehearsing the old version of yourself every day. Your next chapter is not waiting for luck. It's waiting for alignment. And maybe this message found you tonight because deep down you already know it's time. Time to stop shrinking. Time to stop delaying. Time to stop introducing yourself as the person you used to be. The future version of you has been calling for a long time. Now it's your turn to answer.